were just discussing what we could do with excess fabric.
With so many of the same cheaper model, will your favorite little person really love this car as much as the wooden one?
On your holiday tree, you might find that in most cases they come from China, which is quite far away.
Welcome to the Sustainable Region Christmas Edition. I'm Vanessa Timmer. Today we're at the Capilano Suspension Bridge for the opening of the 10th annual Canyon Lights Festival. The holiday season is a time for celebrating, getting together with loved ones, and most importantly, sharing in the spirit of giving. So it's appropriate that we begin our holiday edition with a story that embodies the spirit of goodwill, profiling how a local apparel company is making life on the streets warmer and drier for those without shelter during the winter season.
It's 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and these industrial sewing machines that normally sit idle on the weekends are humming away. 55 volunteers have given up a day off to work on what's called the Bird's Nest Project. They're used to sewing items for the popular outdoor brand Arc'teryx, but that's not their purpose on this particular Sunday. Today, they're putting together waterproof capes for the homeless.
The Bird's Nest project started 5 years ago with Arc'teryx, and the way it came about was we were just discussing what we could do with excess fabric. We wanted to make sure we kept it out of landfills. So we were brainstorming something that we could do that would also perhaps give back to the community, and we came up with the idea of doing the capes.
Surplus waterproof fabric provides free material for the capes, but it's the volunteers' time that makes the program possible.
So the volunteers historically had all been employees of the company, but over time we decided that we would invite spouses, friends to come on board as well.
It feels good to be part of it, and my wife's here helping out and I'm helping out my wife, so it all feels good.
Some of the volunteers are professional sewers, but many of them are not, working in the company's head office or its warehouse instead.
Our factory employees have had an opportunity to teach our head office and warehouse employees the sewing skills, and that's something new for all of us. The team building that we achieved without that in mind was really great.
I do this job is so many years. I think can help another people. Yeah, I feel good.
Just getting out of bed to come here this morning, you're kind of like, oh my God, here we go again. But then once you get here and you get sewing and the more you talk with people, it's just totally inspiring and amazing feeling.
Helping people is a good thing. Made me feel happy because we have lost fabric, and then we can use what we left over and make all the things more useful and helping people.
If everyone just contributes in a way, it benefits society in general a lot, I think. So that's why I'm here.
The volunteers put in 3 shifts between August and the end of November. A few weeks before Christmas, Bird's Nest Program Coordinator Joanne Mazies and Constable Jodine Keller are out on the streets, distributing the capes.
So it's a little tighter so it keeps you warmer, so you can tie it up.
The timing is not entirely coincidental.
There's a lot more giving at Christmas time, without a doubt, and it just comes hand in hand with the cold weather as well. Everybody likes to give things. There is something special when you hand something to somebody and they know it's appreciated. Yeah, it's better to give, right?
So far, the Bird's Nest program has put almost 3,000 capes into the hands of the homeless.
And when you think about 1,750 homeless just in Vancouver alone, to hand out 3,000 capes is something you could do so very easily, unfortunately.
What makes these capes so valuable is the fact that they're waterproof.
The homeless people know that we hand out blankets, because blankets is something that we can easily get from anywhere. But rain capes, Gore-Tex rain capes, is something very special, very unique. A blanket is good for the night, but the next day it's wet and it's finished. But a cape means we are here with you for the long haul. Good, so that application that we did, it's going in tomorrow.
It's a simple act of kindness that is welcomed wholeheartedly.
They're very, very appreciative, and that's sort of been something that actually makes me very proud.
Welcome back to the Sustainable Region. Beautiful lights are a big part of the Christmas tradition, and the Capilano Suspension Bridge Canyon Lights Festival certainly fits the bill. Of course, gift giving is another big part of the holidays, and for children of all ages, toys under the tree are something to look forward to. And while a modern plastic toy might not come all the way from the North Pole to reach its recipient, it may surprise you to learn how far it does travel. Our next story counts the many miles a plastic toy accumulates before it reaches our home and explains why a locally made wooden toy is just as much fun, but in a much more sustainable package.
It's gift-giving time, and there's a toy car on your favorite little person's wish list. So you hop in your car and drive to the toy store. Inside the toy store, you find the perfect plastic and metal car. It costs $14.99 plus the cost of the fuel to get you there. $14.99 plus $2.30. A grand total of $17.29 will buy you the perfect present. But hang on. Below the perfect plastic and metal car on the shelf is a lovely wooden car. It's perfect too, but yikes. It costs $35.99. More than double the price before the price of the fuel to get there is added. With so many of the same cheaper model, will your favorite little person really love this car as much as the wooden one? When it gets broken, what will happen to it? Will it just get tossed in the landfill like so many other seemingly disposable toys? That car traveled a long way. The petroleum that made the plastic and moved all the materials around came from Iraq. Metals from South Africa, packaging from Indonesia. The raw materials all came from wherever they could be purchased cheaply. All those things traveled about 21,000 kilometers to get to the manufacturing plant in China where all the parts to create the car were produced. But the actual assembly of the toy was done in Mexico. So all the parts to make the car now travel a total of about 28,000 kilometers. The car has only made it as far as Mexico, and it has already traveled nearly 50,000 kilometers. From Mexico, it makes its way to a warehouse in the USA, 1,800 kilometers, and then from there to a store in Canada, 2,500 kilometers, where you pick it up and drive it at least 10 kilometers to your home, 53,510 kilometers. The raw material for this little car, wood harvested from a Canadian forest, traveled 250 kilometers to get to the location for manufacturing and assembly. Then it traveled 50 kilometers during production. Then another 50 kilometers to get it to the warehouse, and then on to the store, and finally, the 10 kilometers home in your car, 360 kilometers. The final journey these cars will make is the 20 kilometers to their disposal sites, although one will go to the landfill and the other to the compost facility. Our metal and plastic car will have traveled a grand total of 53,530 kilometers, and our Made in Canada wooden car, 380 kilometers. Now the Earth's circumference is 40,008 kilometers, so that means that the metal and plastic car will have traveled the equivalent of 1.31 times around the Earth, and the wooden car will have only traveled the equivalent of less than 1/100th of a trip around the world, 0.01 times around the Earth during its life cycle. That means that the greenhouse gas emissions created in the production of the plastic and metal car are about 1,000 times greater than in the production of the wooden car. So with all this traveling, why is the wooden toy so much more expensive? In Canada, our higher wages, labor laws, and environmental standards make things cost more. And while the retail price for the plastic and metal car is low, add in concerns like the impact of greenhouse gases on our planet, and suddenly the cost of this toy rises exponentially. But by supporting local manufacturing, keeping our money in our community, and giving a gift that will last for years, the value of the wooden toy is far greater than the value of the plastic and metal toy. So when you really do the math, which toy really costs more? And which toy really has true value? Holiday meals make memories that last a lifetime. Now, City Yard Waste bins will take all your food scraps. This holiday, create compost, not garbage.
My sister loves shoes, so I'm giving her time to shop, and I get time with my niece. Right, Yihan? Create memories, not garbage.
Welcome back to the Sustainable Region. I'm Vanessa Timmer. For our last episode of 2015, we're exploring some of the ways you can embrace eco-friendly choices during the holiday season. It lasts a long time and can be reused over and over. But is an artificial Christmas tree one of the ways we can incorporate sustainability choices into this time of the year? You might think there's an easy answer, but it turns out there's a variety of factors to take into account when you're making the choice between an artificial and a natural tree.
At this festive time of year, the question often arises, artificial tree or real tree? Which is better? We're busy, so convenience has a huge appeal.
The benefits with artificial trees you might think of come in with the 1R, which is reusability. It's something you can pull out of your garage or crawl space every season and use it over and over again. When you're considering buying a natural tree, most of them are grown here in the Fraser Valley, so very close to us here in Metro Vancouver. The benefits are also that you're supporting the local economy and local tree farms.
And the plastic tree?
If you can actually find a label on your holiday tree, you might find that in most cases they come from China, which is quite far away.
Comparing even a decade's worth of real tree buying trips, the overseas shipping of an artificial tree creates more carbon emissions that contribute to climate change. What about the production phase?
The downsides are that they are made out of petroleum products or plastics, so their carbon emissions come into play during the manufacturing and production phase.
The type of materials and emissions also raise concerns about health. Needles are made of PVC plastic, and some may also contain lead. But the real tree isn't a perfect angel either.
Once we cut the tree down, of course, that's when the emissions kick in as far as releasing carbon into the atmosphere when it biodegrades.
The way your real tree decomposes makes a difference too.
You want to keep organics, which in this case is your Christmas tree, out of the landfill, because when good organics go to the landfill, they don't break down properly and they actually end up creating methane gas versus CO2, which is even a stronger and sort of a worse greenhouse gas that we want to keep out of the atmosphere.
As well, during the dozen or so years between planting and harvesting, the tree farm uses fuel, water, and energy, and may also use pesticides and fertilizers. So which tree is the better choice for the environment? If you use plastic, you'll have to use it a long time.
About 20 years is how long you'd have to use that artificial tree to outweigh buying a natural one.
On balance, the best choice you can make for the environment is a locally grown tree that is properly composted.
Well, That's the show for today. You can watch, comment on, or share these stories and more on our blog at metrovancouverblog.org. On behalf of the whole crew at the Sustainable Region, I'm Vanessa Timmer, wishing you the very best of the holiday seasons. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the new year.